Hello, my name is Jordan Marr and I'm the owner-operator of Unearthed Organics in Kelowna, British Columbia. I grow about 5 acres of mixed vegetables and herbs, and I sell that mainly to restaurants, but also into direct to household customers.
And what has been your experience, general experience with Sumisansui R-Wide?
So I was introduced to Sumisansui R-Wide irrigation, I guess a couple seasons ago, and I was immediately impressed. I really like the coverage that it offers and the fact that compared to the overhead irrigation I've been using impact sprinklers, that the R-Wide provides like a much finer mist as it's watering, which I really liked as far as not being so hard on the soil structure, as well as just getting a really nice even coverage of the crops.
Okay, so what crops did you use it for?
So, as far as using R-Wide, I think I started out using it on onions that were transplanted. I've used it on carrots and beets that I direct seeded into the soil. And then this year, I've used it on just like a couple of my planting blocks full of mixed herbs. So all previously established perennials.
Okay, and what crops do you think the R-Wide did most favorably?
I think that the R-Wide has been effective on everything that I've tried it on. So originally I was running the R-Wide right on the ground, and that was in the onions, and I had to learn that it was better off to have it a little bit raised up off the ground, just because as the onions grew it was becoming a problem. But I've started raising my R-Wide up using clamps on buried posts, and now it's just getting beautiful coverage. So it was very effective in my onions for irrigation. Those were onions planted into plastic mulch. I'm going to start again. So it was very effective on my onions, which were planted into a landscape fabric that water could pass through. I got great germination on my carrots and beets that were planted into bare soil, and then the R-Wide watered those carrots and beets all the way through their life cycle. That really worked. And then in this mixed herb garden that I used the R-Wide in, it was also great. Like I have no complaints about how it was applying the overhead water.
So yeah, you've already mentioned a little bit of this, but how practical is it compared to using sprinklers or drip tape?
So when I'm comparing the R-Wide to say drip irrigation, I just really like, first of all, I'm a big believer in getting water across all of the soil just to keep the soil life higher. With drip irrigation, you just got these regions of barren, dry soil that I don't like. Especially when with R-Wide compared to impact sprinklers, you're going to be a little bit more conservational with water, so it's not like you're using like way too much water like you would when you overhead with impacts. So I like that, and I also just love that for a given area, the R-Wide can cover quite a bit, and I don't have to run individual lines of drip, which just makes weeding a lot harder. This is an organic farm. We don't use herbicides for weed control. It's all manual. So if I can run irrigation where I don't have to worry about like damaging irrigation lines, that's a real plus. Comparing R-Wide to impact sprinklers, overhead irrigation, I mentioned before that what I really like is that the water coming off the R-Wide is much finer, so you're not impacting the soil as much as far as damaging soil structure, that sort of thing. So I've been really happy with it in that respect.
And well, how were the germination results compared to other methods, sprinklers say?
When I look at the germination performance of crops planted under R-Wide versus say impact sprinklers, I think if I've got my either system set up well, I get great germination. So I have nothing negative to say about the R-Wide. Like in trying out the R-Wide with beets and carrots direct seeded, I didn't notice any drop in germination, that's for sure.
So you used it from germination to harvesting?
Yeah, so when I use the R-Wide on the carrots and beets, this was direct seeding those crops and then using the R-Wide right from seeding all the way through harvest.
Okay, do you think you got a higher yield with the R-Wide?
Just like with germination, it's a little bit hard for me to comment on comparing yields, especially because I've only used R-Wide for 1 year with the carrots and beets. But what I can say is I was very happy with the yields that I got growing these crops using the Sumico R-Wide.
Do you think you'll use them, the R-Wide, next year?
I'll continue to use the R-Wide that I've purchased. I really like it. It's working really well in different applications around the farm, especially now that I'm using clamps to raise the R-Wide about a foot off the ground. It's staying out of the way. It's very easy to set up. It's durable, which I really like. So no, it'll have probably, I'm guessing, a permanent role in my farm irrigation.